Welcome back to the Wayfaring Warbler, a YouTube channel about birding in Massachusetts, New England, and beyond. Welcome back to another special episode where we are this week talking about photography equipment, what I have, what I recommend, and links to everything is in the description below. All right, so now we're gonna jump into the photography aspect. All right, so I brought all my cameras out, and I have a little story that I also shared on a recent video as well, or I will be sharing in a video depending on when this comes out. So I started with a D5600, and I upgraded this in the fall. It was a really good beginner one. This is what I practice on. This is how I got good at shooting loons and hummingbirds, landscapes. It did me well. Like, I really didn't know any difference. I then went to a D500 because it is a beast of a DSLR for wildlife photography. This is like the wildlife photography camera. For upgrading from a basic, like a D5600, I mean, this is much lighter than the D500. This is more of a professional body. The D500 and the D850 are kind of like, this is the crop camera version, so you're going to get a more focused look. And the D850 is their professional full frame camera, which is good for wildlife, but also good for like everything else. It gives you a wider version. Crops are good for if you have like a subject you're looking at. But for me, I'm looking at subjects, and I like that crop cameras give you an extended reach. So I can't give you the exact numbers, but like you have a 600 millimeter zoom, like that makes it effectively like a, I don't know, 800, 900. I'm not sure what the number is, but so this is great. It's also really weatherproof, so I was okay going out in the rain or snow. I mean, sometimes I would still put, if it was really coming down, I would put like a sleeve over it, plastic bag. I mean, mine was a cheap thing from Amazon, worked fine enough. And this is really good. Like, my photos drastically changed once I went to this. Good focus, more megapixels. I liked this. The megapixels is key if you ever want to print, or the ability to crop down and still have it be high enough pixels to have good quality on, say, social media. If you're not printing web, then more megapixels means you can crop down smaller and still have it be big enough. Yeah, and then within this year, I got into videos. So this, yes, it does have, it can do 4K 30 frames per second, which on YouTube, you're going to post, any video is 30 frames per second. However, newer mirrorless bodies, if you can do 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second, that means that you can take those frames per second and slow them down, and it has enough data in those frames to do that like smoothly, and it's like it's supposed to be that slow. Whereas if I slow down my 30 frames per second, it doesn't look good because it doesn't have the data to do that extended frames per second. I was researching mirrorless. I mean, like, you know what? I just bought this. I got it used on MPB, which I highly recommend for used. I don't think I bought the 5600 used. I think I got this on a package on Amazon. It was like on sale one summer. But these are $500-ish anyway, with 2 lenses and a bunch of other stuff. This I bought body only, $800 something maybe on MPB. I looked at all the shutter rates because cameras only have a max life on their shutter until like you could replace them for a few $100s. I mean, this was great condition. But then yesterday I had a little accident. I have a new tripod head that I must need to tighten or something. My camera slipped out of the tripod and then it landed on the lens, and then the two split apart and it broke the connection here. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I may get it fixed. I may call it, this was a learning experience, and I know I am a klutz. That's why I get injured quite frequently. So we're going to see what we're going to do with this, because it is good to have a second body. And when I went yesterday being like, this is my second body, like there's no comparison. What I did do was, so I have been doing a ton of research about the Nikon, because I'm already in the Nikon system. Once you're in a system, like you have the lenses, it's hard to get out of a system. And ever since college, I've been doing stuff with Nikon cameras, work over the years, everything. So I know Nikon better. So I've been researching the mirrorless options for next level up, focusing on ones that could do good video. And I was looking at the Nikon Z6iii, the Nikon Z8, and the Nikon Z9. The Nikon Z8 and Z9 are like their top of the line professional bodies. Nikon Z3 is it's a little newer. I mean, they're all relatively new at this point, but it's like probably I think it's the newest, if not Z9. I don't know. You can correct me below. But it is like a lower end camera, still a couple $1,000s, but it has really good video capabilities for that price. It is able to do at 1080 pixels, it can do 240 frames per second. At 4K, it can do 120 frames per second. And I wanted that capability for my videos to share with you all. And I love seeing them on Instagram. The more I do video in the last 2 months, it hasn't even been that long, the more I want to do. So I knew maybe I wanted a second body, and the D8, D9, they're big. The D9 is even bigger. The D8's big, and then the Z6iii, it's not lower end, but it's like lower end in terms of build quality. At the Best Buy, they had a Z8 and Z6iii there on display. And after breaking my camera, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get insurance of some sort. I got to figure that out. But, I'm so much of a klutz that maybe I shouldn't be getting the more expensive, like spending the money towards the more expensive camera. So that was like one check mark toward the Z6iii. Another check mark toward the Z6iii. It has lower megapixels than the Z8 and Z9. Those have like double basically the megapixels, but the Z6iii has like slightly more than D500. They're all full frames, but it's slightly more than the D500. So in the end, to me, that's like a wash. And the D500 had enough megapixels for me, but also coming with more megapixels means you need more hard drive storage, and hard drive storage right now is ridiculously expensive because of the AI industry. So I was like, that's going to cost me more money. I'm already churning through space as it is. So that was a check for the Z6iii. Wanting the better features, there are better builds for the Z8, Z9. So that was a check in those boxes. Probably eventually going to upgrade to those anyway. Check for those. I'm not a professional. I'm not selling any photos yet. So that was a check for the Z6iii. I don't need to spend that professional money. And then going there, what was my determining factor was I held the Z8 and the Z6iii. I have short fingers, like my mother does too. It's a family thing. So I picked up both and just couldn't really, it wasn't as comfortable for me gripping that Z8. And it was much more comfortable for me gripping the Z6iii. Yeah, it's a lot lighter, which is a good and bad thing. It's a lot lighter, and I do a ton of, as you guys know, I do a ton of exploring, a ton of walking around. So that's like, and it's like, it's on my shoulder. I had a massage the other day. She's really working on my shoulders because I hold it all. That's how I carry stuff. So it's much lighter, where the Z8 was much heavy. I didn't think, like, if you look at the numbers, it's not that much heavier, but it was a lot heavier. So yeah, I bought the Z6iii yesterday in a pinch. And you know what? I'm okay. Like, I'm getting used to it. I was not expecting to have to spend that much money yesterday. I wasn't expecting to break my camera. I was sick to my stomach about it. But I'll show you, and I'll be able to show you my lens here too. So we'll talk about the lens first. So this is the Sigma 150-600 f5 to 6.3 contemporary. I think they stopped making these. A lot of companies are going the way of mirrorless now. So, but you can get these on the used market easily. These are kind of, I would say, I again did a ton of research, but nowadays I say it's a good debate between if the 200 to 500, at least the DSLR lens, versus the 150-600 is the better lens. At this point, maybe I would have gone for the 200 to 500 as like it's supposed to be sharper, but I think this is a highly recommended good long lens, so I think it's good. So depending on the price for you, I would say you can't go wrong with a Nikon 200 by 500 or the Sigma 150-600 contemporary. This is like the Nikon version. They have different versions for each type, so make sure you're getting the right one. But I think my next lens is gonna be a prime, where it's just one. there's no no extending, but telescoping. But this goes from 150 to 600, which is great when I get something closer and I'm too close. But most of the time I have it fully extended. I'm not using too much. It's not that heavy. I mean, yes, you build up some muscles, I guess, but it's not that heavy. It is hard. I mean, you'll probably see. I'm trying to get better, like holding it and videoing, but I'm learning that I need to carry a tripod all the time because it's hard to get steady. It's not great. I would say the reason I want to go to mirrorless lenses is they have more stability built in for that video capability versus this. But this has been amazing for photos. All my photos come from this lens. I did have an issue with this telescoping. It got stuck and I sent it back to Sigma. So I spent a pretty penny on the shipping and the insurance through UPS, but ended up being under warranty for whatever reason, even though I was like, oh, I probably did this. And they fixed it for free and sent it back within the week in the fall. It was in the fall. So, and I felt like lost without it. And then if you are using your old lenses on a mirrorless, then you have to get the converter. So I got the FTZ II, which I'm reading that the 2, which is a newer version of their adapter, is much better. So I wouldn't even bother with the original version, just get the 2. They have them on the used, but there's not too much of a price difference. Mirrorless right now, like they're holding up their values on all their stuff. But yeah, so this is the Z6iii. It is so much different. Mirrorless versus DSLR. Wow. Like, I mean, I knew they were different, but it's crazy. I'm still figuring out settings. So this is a little premature to give you any good reviews. And maybe we can do a future video about that. But you look through the viewfinder and it's literally showing you a digital image with your settings. Like you're seeing your ISO and stuff. Like you're looking through the D500 and you're seeing the viewfinder, but you have to like check the playback after to see if your aperture, your shutter speed, your ISO, all that was good. There's also autofocus is like a whole new world. And I think that's gonna be the biggest difference in terms of photos. I haven't seen overall too much difference in photos yet, but I mean, it has bird tracking, wildlife tracking, all kinds of, I got to figure out the focus part. Whereas like the D500, I had to like pick on the screen, like move around the thing where I wanted it to focus. This will like do all that for you. So that is like my biggest, it'll help me and hinder me. Like it's, in the long term, it's going to help me. In the short term, I'm trying to figure out how to work all these focuses. So I got to watch a bunch of YouTube videos to learn how to do that. But otherwise, yes, the video, I think I'm going to love the video. So far, so good. I mean, it looks so smooth when I just practiced with some on the computer last night. Yeah, so this is Z6iii. And like my fingers go fully around. I can touch like all the buttons and get a good grip on it. So I also say for additional things at the end of this video here, it's getting quite long, but I do have an on-camera microphone. So this is a Rode. I will include the link to it. This is not their most expensive one. But so far, so good. I think I am eventually going to get like a cage for this so I can mount that. I'll probably end up getting one of the external displays so I can see better when I'm videoing if I'm doing like extended video. But, you know, we're going to save our dollars here and slowly acquire things. This is my old one. I've already ordered a new one, but I also recommend this Easy Cover camera body protection against dings and scratches and stuff. You know, if you want to keep that resale value, it's good to keep things protected. I'm just quickly going through here. Jumping to, I use the, what is this? The BlackRapid Sport Breathe. I've had this for a while. This is the one I use. I also have a double one because at one point I was thinking I was going to carry my D500 and my old camera. And if I wanted to do have a shorter lens here and a longer lens here, depending on what happens with this D500, maybe I'll go back to that. But this time of year, I don't need that, but I don't know. I may again, but yeah, so I use this. It clips here, so it keeps it. And then it has, you can like bring it up. I'm also very connected into the Arca-Swiss plate system. So like this is an Arca-Swiss plate. You screw it to the bottom. Like if you're using a long lens, you always connect everything to your lens, not the camera body, so it doesn't snap off, which, you know, happened anyway. But I have a way to screw in the Arca-Swiss plate into this, make it faster coming off. And then I use it on all my tripods and stuff. I'm using my tripod right now, but to go over those real quick, I use a Manfrotto. My newest tripod is a Manfrotto 055 CX Pro 3 carbon. I got all this stuff used. I don't think I would ever buy a tripod new. I can't think of any reason. You save so much money buying used, and it's brand new still. The carbon, there's carbon in aluminum tripods. Carbon is much lighter. It's less cold if I'm carrying it in the snow. I also have a strap on it that I bought separately on Amazon that I can strap it around my neck and carry it on my back. So that's been great. This is like the first thing I bought when I started birding locally here last winter. I was just going to one spot for many months. But this is a monopod. I keep carrying it with me and then I never end up using it. But if there's a place where a tripod is tight and you want to get video, then like this gives you more stabilization and holding something in the air. I guess I'm pretty locked into the Manfrotto tripods. I like Manfrotto for tripods. I also originally had gotten a Manfrotto 190X Pro 3 aluminum that is very similar to the 055. I made sure they were both rated for heavier equipment. That's the key. You want to make sure it can support the weight of your lens. But I mostly keep that for I like to have two, one for the spotting scope and then one for my camera. That way if like I need to pull one out of the car fast, I can. I have a number of different tripod heads, and this is something I'm still figuring out. Like I said, one just broke my camera yesterday, but this one is good for the spotting scope, and it's also coming in handy for the video too. It might be a little lightweight for my lens, but if you're careful, it's fine. So this is the I've heard how to pronounce this, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. SIRUI. It's a VA5X compact fluid head. This was highly recommended. I did a lot of research too, what people recommended for tripod heads, because I couldn't figure it out. But having the handle is really great for spotting scopes, also good for video. I don't think you need that for photos. I wouldn't get that. I have different versions. I can, in the future, once I figure out tripod heads, I can do a video on that. Rushing through here. So this is the monopod is an Element M3 monopod. I think I bought it on Amazon. Inexpensive. I wasn't looking to spend money back then. I also use a GoPro Hero 12. I think I got it used, of course. I think MPV, but I always check B&H, MPV, Adorama, all of them for the best prices on their used stuff. This I use for YouTube. But yeah, I think that's all the stuff I was going to share today. If you have any questions, I guess also I'll share one more thing. So my backpack that I use, it's good for storage. I think I'm looking at purchasing another one that's good for walking around more. But this one is good for travel and stuff. This is the Low Pro Flipside 400 AW3. It opens in the back. Good storage. I can fit my long lens here. If you take off the lens hood, it'll fit in here. You flip around the lens hood and it goes up the lens. I think it's without the camera. Actually, I think I've gotten it with the camera on it, but it fits easier if you don't have the camera on it. So this has been good. It has place for the tripod on the side, but for bigger tripods, I'm looking for something maybe that carries it underneath. I don't know. I got to figure that one out. Something that's a little better for hiking and also has place for water. I'm trying to figure out the whole like hiking backpack situation. Also carrying around I have my microphone, DJI. I carry around battery packs. I keep the GoPro plugged in at all times. This is a media mod, and then you can plug it in the back and keep it charged that way because it was tanking batteries like no one's business. Yep, that's everything. If you have any questions about any of this, I can do another video or answer them in the comments. Let me know. I hope this was helpful, and I will let you know what my next step in this journey is because it's rapidly changing as I learn more and research more and watch other YouTubers and social media people. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed wandering with me today, give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep following where the birds lead next. Thanks for watching. Until next time.